Good morning and welcome to Today in LA. I'm Mike Amos, and this is a Friday morning as we head deeper into the month of June. In fact, this is the 22nd day of June, and next weekend is the big Independence Day parade in downtown Brundage, and then the next week, or that week, is the 4th of July. We're moving right on fast as we can toward high school and college football. And that is no joke. Like the man says, and that's no joke. As man, this summer is moving by fast. And, of course, folks will be hitting the roads today, heading to the beach and try to get in a weekend at the beach before school starts. School starts, I think, around the second week in August, so that's not far away. Of course, I want to remind you folks, folks that graduated from Charles Henson High School from 1955 to 1973, we're having a giant reunion for you on July the 27th and 28th at the Troy Country Club. Last year, we had over 200 people come back for this multi-year reunion, and we expect that many or more this year as the Fabulous Shades have made their commitment, and Kenny Davis has made his commitment, one of the great boppers of all time. And hey, you folks, you Listenbys over in Ozark that are great boppers, hey, everybody knows who Kenny Davis is when it comes to the PC bop, and he'll be doing it, I mean, a lot of it on the 27th and 28th. He happened to marry a very lovely lady from Ozark, Sally Hiram, and they've been married for many years and have bopped many a dance to the 50s and 60s music. And, of course, we're excited about our event this year, and we'll be heading that way on what we call the night train to Troy, Alabama on July the 27th and 28th in concert and dance, the Fabulous Shades on July the 28th, and we'll be looking forward to that. People tell me, and said, who are the Shades? Well, you don't know who the Shades are, you haven't been around Pike County very long. And of course the Shades originated right here in Troy. In fact, my class and former Pike County Superintendent John Key grew up with long hair, whether you know it or not, and he played the drums. And then, of course, they started a band called the Shades, and now the rest is history. And they've played many, many times over the last, 45 years or more, 50 years. I'd say over 50 years. They have played to groups all over the Southeast, and, of course, they're doctors and lawyers. I think there's three of them that fly their own plane in here, and they'll be flying in here for that weekend. And of course, some of my great friends, not only John Key, but of course Jeffrey Johnson doesn't play for him anymore, but he was one of the original guys. Bob Pike was the original guy. Kerry Green was an original guy. Langford now is the drummer, and of course does a great job. And of course, nobody wants to forget David. Let's go to our phones. Good morning. You're on Today in LA. How you doing?
Hey, morning.
Who is this, please?
Mike Amos.
Mike Amos calling in from Birmingham this morning. And did y'all got a ton of rain yesterday, didn't you?
Got a ton of rain last night.
Well, we got rain yesterday afternoon or last evening, so I tell you, I didn't even have to turn my sprinkler system on. Man, my grass is getting plenty of water.
Yeah, the NBA draft was last night as well, and Colin Sexton out of Alabama went number 8 overall in the first round to the Cleveland Cavaliers. Of course,
is he really that good?
Well, I mean, you watched him play. I mean, he's pretty big time player. Averaged almost 19 points a game at Alabama as a freshman.
Yeah.
But of course, LeBron James is probably gonna, he's a free agent, probably gonna go play somewhere else. So, be pretty excited if he can play with LeBron, but I don't see it happening. Everybody keeps on saying he's going to go probably out west and play for.
Why does Sexton do so well? Is he a good jump shooter or what?
You watched Alabama play this year, didn't you?
I didn't watch him play much.
He's a tremendous driver of the basketball. He drives, and real good around the rim. And
so he's not a real good shooter then.
He can shoot the three. He's really more of a mid-range guy. But he's definitely got a pretty good shot.
Yeah.
He's just a slasher scorer, plays really good defense, really athletic. Can play above the rim too. Can really jump.
What makes you think James will that they'll be able to trade him? Because
he wants huge money. He knows if he can't beat Golden State, he's going to have to go to a team with some better players. He doesn't have anybody to play with him right now.
Yeah. Can you believe the Auburn baseball coach has become a millionaire?
What, Butch Thompson?
Yeah. Well, he just signed a new contract between $900,000 and $1 million annually. That's a lot for a baseball coach.
Yeah, it really is.
You know what? This is unreal how things work. He had a great year, and his team had a great year, and of course the Mississippi State job came up, and that's where he had coached for several years. Is that right?
Yeah, he coached there, and he coached in Kentucky.
Yeah. Well, his salary for the 2018 season was going to be $500,000 after he signed an amendment to his contract signed in 2015. So he was just as happy as he could be. And then the Mississippi State job came up, and Florida head coach Kevin Sumlin became one of the highest paid coaches in the nation after signing a 10-year deal worth listen to this, a 10-year deal worth $1.25 annually, running through 2005. So that happened, and now Mississippi State job comes up, and Auburn worried about Butch Thompson getting the Mississippi State job, gives him a 5-year contract where the first of the 2 years of the deal is included in an annual salary of $350,000. He was making $350,000, and now Auburn,
which was the lowest in the SEC.
Yeah, and now Auburn. Listen to this now. His new contract is between $900,000 and $1 million annually, with the inclusion of incentive clauses. Thompson's salary for the 2018 season was $500,000, but after he signed his contracts and some amendments, it'll be between $900,000 and $1 million. So not many millionaire baseball coaches, but Thompson at Auburn is now.
Well, good for him. Auburn had a great season, and was basically one in and away several times.
Well, I'll tell you what has happened. Thanks to Kevin Sullivan, or whatever, however he pronounces his name. As far as he's concerned, he had just raised the mark on salaries in college baseball. So from here on out, all the schools will have to pay their baseball coach over $1 million because they all want to keep up with the other one. That's the way football was, and it'll be the way baseball will be too. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think you'll see Henderson, who's the interim coach of Mississippi State. Of course, Mississippi State plays today at 3 o'clock. So, if they win today, they'll be in the championship series. I think they'll probably keep him as the new head coach permanently.
How is the College World Series going?
Well, the 2 SEC schools are undefeated, Arkansas and Mississippi State.
Yeah.
So basically, Mississippi State will play Oregon State, I believe, today, and then Florida was beating Texas Tech last night, and basically they'll knock Texas Tech out. So they'll basically come down to, I think, Arkansas, Florida, and then Mississippi State, Oregon State. But the 2 SEC teams are in the driver's seat because they don't have a loss.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to be interesting, and
Mississippi State plays at 3 o'clock today.
When do they turn that thing into a what is it, the best 2 out of 3, or how they do it?
Yeah, that's determined today or tomorrow.
Okay. And of course, the SEC has Florida, Mississippi State, and is that it?
Arkansas.
And Arkansas. So
Arkansas is undefeated.
This was a great year for the SEC in baseball, don't you think?
situation where, you know, in the Super Regionals, 3 SEC teams had to play 3 other SEC teams.
Let me ask you something, and I know your reply. You're gonna probably jut out at me and whatever. But can you believe that Tua, this new quarterback at Alabama, is now considered all-world after playing one half of football? I think he's considered all-world, and one of the best quarterbacks in the country, in Hurt, who had guided Alabama to all these victories, is on the bench now, and everybody thinks that this Tua, who is poised to start for Alabama, and Alabama is predicted to win the national championship everywhere, and all he's done is play one half of football. How can you determine that?
They hadn't declared who the starter is yet.
Well, it said, well, of course, he's poised to be a starter. And
I mean, let Nick Saban decide that. When Nick Saban tells you the starter's going to be, then you can.
Well, I tell you what.
I will say Tua's in the top 3 of the Heisman Trophy candidates already.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Are you serious? He has played one half of college football. That's all he's played, Mike.
No, he played the whole second half pretty much against Tennessee.
Well, big deal, but he is. Isn't that amazing? What you can, how you can develop that quick?
Well, I mean, it's one of those things when it comes down to it. I mean, if you could watch Hurts, I mean, especially if you go to games and you see all the guys that are wide open throughout the games, you know, he just doesn't go through all his reads. You know, he'd rather just tuck and run, which you can against several teams, but when you play the elite teams, you're going to have to be able to throw the ball.
All right, he grew up in Hawaii, and his idol was the great quarterback at Tennessee for Tennessee in the pros now. Isn't that right?
Tua?
Tua grew up in Hawaii, and his idol was the great quarterback player at Oregon.
Oh, yeah, you said Tennessee.
No, he plays for Tennessee now.
Yeah, Marcus Mariota.
Well, okay. I meant Tennessee pros now, and Marcus Mariota was his idol or his hero. Everybody has heroes. I'm gonna tell you probably some of mine today. But all right, here he is. He's a sophomore. Why? All right, then is he considered a sophomore? He broke his red shirt year last year. Is that right?
Well, no, I mean, yeah, he's a sophomore.
This new rule that's coming out would have saved him a year, wouldn't it?
Well, no, he played enough games.
I know, but this new year, though, what I'm saying, you can play 4 years now and still get redshirted. 4 games and still get redshirted.
Yeah, you play 4 games. That's great though for you know, redshirt kids now. That
all right, now let me
play like the non-conference games, or you can play you know some other games. That's going to help Coach Brown and Troy as well.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, and that quarterback number, is it 18 or 13?
13.
Number 13 from Honolulu, Hawaii, Tua Tagovailoa. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think it's Tagovailoa.
Tua Tagovailoa, 6'1", 218 pounds, from Honolulu, Hawaii.
They say he's not 6'1", he's more like 6 foot barely.
Oh gosh, I can't believe that. Now they'll say he's too short. Okay, all he's done in his career at Alabama, he's completed 49 out of 77 passes at 64%, for 636 yards and 11 touchdowns with 2 interceptions. He's rushed 27 times for 133 yards and 2 touchdowns. So he's been responsible for 13 touchdowns.
I mean, Jalen Hurts ain't going to sit on the bench. I mean, he's going to either transfer or they're going to have some kind of package on the goal line with him. I mean, he's not going to just sit there and not play.
Yeah. Now hear this, ladies and gentlemen. His brother, who is also, they brought him over here, and he's playing. I wonder how the bid for him.
His parents live in Alabaster.
I know it, but they moved to Alabaster, and they played for Thompson High School of Alabaster. Michael, you would have thought that Hoover would have gone after him, or Spain Park, or somebody like that.
You know, I'm friends with Hoover's offensive coordinator now, as head coach at Minor. I'll ask him about that if they were ever involved in getting them. I'll have to see.
Well, now they say.
Alabaster and Hoover are right next to each other.
Well, now they're talking about him leaving. Has he already committed to Alabama?
Yeah, he's committed, but he's got another year left.
I know he's got another year left.
Great grandson Paul Tyson, who's a trustful.
Yeah, that's gonna be tough. You're gonna hear a lot out of that, don't you think?
Well, I mean, it's one of those type things where Hurts will be gone maybe by the end of the summer if he doesn't get the starting job, and then you'll have Tua only have one more year. Well, have this year and then next year. So some of these guys probably get redshirted, and then Mac Jones, I don't know what will happen with him.
And you know what? I watched that spring game the other day. He looked good in the spring. I would think
he could throw it pretty good.
Hey, I would think he could play for a lot of teams. And
he's got an opportunity, once Tua leaves his junior year.
And he didn't come from a slouch school. He comes from the same school that produced you know who.
Tim Tebow.
Yeah. And of course, Bowles High School. Now Bowles is sort of like Baylor and what's the other school over there in Columbus? In Chattanooga.
Oh, you got Baylor,
Macaulay. Well, Bowles is like that in Jacksonville, and of course it's a boarding school, isn't it? Is that right?
I don't know. That's where Chipper Jones played baseball.
Yeah, and they board kids, and of course it's a private school, and like I said, like Mike said, that's where the great one out of Florida came, and I'm sure he's produced quite a few great ones, but now it's got Jones now at Alabama. I would think that is as big a time of football as you can find, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, of course, everywhere down in Florida is great football. So, it's one of those things where, I guess they'll just see how the season goes, and maybe Jones will transfer, maybe he'll stay. I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
the guy that kid from Arkansas we talked about, that was a 3-star that signed with Arkansas State. He's there now too.
Exactly. Well, everybody's talking about Troy and their 2 quarterbacks, and somebody said the other day they'd take Troy's 2 quarterbacks.
I don't think they'd take him over Jalen Hurts and Tua.
I was wondering what your comment would be about that.
I'm sure in the Sun Belt, some people would take him.
I tell you what, I'm waiting. I'm excited about watching these 2 guys go.
Troy's not getting any respect. Boise right now in Vegas is a 9-point favorite.
Boise is a 9-point favorite at Troy, Mike. At Troy in their new stadium.
Can you imagine? Big Tonan's defense played lights out against Boise last year, but our offensive performance in that game, Brandon Silver's probably played one of the worst games of his career, and we did absolutely nothing offensively. I think we had 145 yards of total offense in that game.
All right, but let's play with this a little bit. I don't have my.
The only reason the game was close is Bryce Brown intercepted the pass and went for a touchdown.
Yeah, you're right. And
if he didn't do that, that game's over early. It was 14-10 with about 5 minutes left. Boise scored another touchdown, and Troy couldn't really muster anything else.
Yeah, Troy did not play well in that game, but now that was a good Boise team that had a very good defense.
Yeah, Boise won the Mountain West.
Yeah, but I will say this, Mike. What would the line be if Tennessee was playing at Troy?
Tennessee probably around 16, 17, I'd say.
Do you really believe that?
Oh, yeah, an SEC team?
At Troy.
I would think it'd be somewhere around there, but maybe not.
Well,
around 10, I don't know.
I believe you think that LSU was a fluke, don't you?
I don't think LSU was a fluke. I think LSU was a situation where they didn't have a quarterback.
Yeah, I know it, but you know what? You look at his stats, and he played pretty well. He really did pretty well all year long. But Troy just went in there and beat them. And you saying that Troy could beat?
Getting drafted.
So you don't think Troy could beat Tennessee at home? Troy gets good football players. They recruit from Georgia, Florida, and Alabama. 25 of the of some of the best players available.
I think they have a better chance of beating Tennessee and beat Boise.
Let me ask you this. Where does Tennessee get their players, and where does Troy get their players? Troy recruits a better area than Tennessee recruits. I know Tennessee recruits nationwide, but I really believe Troy gets better players than Tennessee.
Well, Tennessee comes down to the Chris guy that transfers in from Stanford. You know, I mean, what kind of quarterback play?
All right, yeah. You're right, and he is a very good player.
I think Tennessee will be a lot better on defense though with Jared Pruitt as the head coach.
Yeah, is that right?
I mean, Troy almost beat Tennessee. I guess one of Coach Bladeney's
52-47 or 45, 52-45.
Years, Corey Robinson and Deion Anthony put up 55 points, and Troy still lost.
Yeah, I know it. I saw that game.
And
but
700 yards.
But what I'm saying, I'm not saying that Troy is actually better than Tennessee. I would think Tennessee would be a pretty good favorite at Tennessee, but I think Troy would be close to being the favorite at home. Vanderbilt and Troy. Troy playing Vanderbilt at home. What would the line be?
I think that would be real low. I think that would probably be only like around 4. Vanderbilt probably.
All right. And, hey, how would you think Troy would do against the Vandy Commodores?
Well, Vandy's got that quarterback coming back that's been there, started for 4 years. It's pretty good. And they're, you know, got a great defensive coach in Mason. He's a good guy. I mean, would build a scheme pretty well.
Who would you rather have as your defensive coach, Mason or the guy at Troy?
I mean, I like Dick Coleman a lot.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this.
You know,
Troy is well coached. You're exactly right.
Vanderbilt went to Middle and beat Middle last year at Middle. I mean, that would be a similar situation to playing a Conference USA, playing the Sun Belt.
Yeah. But, hey, Troy and Middle Tennessee at Troy, what do you think?
Oh, well, I mean, Troy's always beat Middle Tennessee usually.
Yeah.
I think Vandy would try to be real physical with Troy.
But what we're saying is it's not that much different. Now, of course, the big boys, Alabama and Auburn and some of those guys, and LSU, well, LSU on a given day, but not LSU. Troy is right in there with them, Mike. They're not in Alabama, but they've got players that can play with these guys, you know?
I mean, I think Troy, if they can beat Boise, which I think probably will not happen because you're starting 2 new quarterbacks, and after what happened last year, I mean, I think Boise will probably beat Troy.
And they've got their quarterback coming back, and he is the son of
Mark Rippon that played for the Redskins.
Yeah, that's right.
But I mean, it'll be hard for a freshman quarterback or first-time starter to beat Boise, even though the game's at home.
Everybody's starting to compare this young man from Priceville, Mike, to Johnny Manziel. He reminds me of a Johnny Manziel.
The guy that's second-string Canadian football.
Is that what he is? He's second string. Let me tell you something. I love Johnny Manziel. I really do. And anybody that loves Johnny Manziel, stand up in your den this morning and say, "Hoorah!" Didn't you like Johnny Manziel?
Yeah, I mean, just had off-the-field issues with drugs and alcohol.
I didn't like that part of him, but he could sure play football and was a great college player. Now, listen to this. They were about the same size. They're about the same size.
See, I didn't see. I mean, I hadn't seen Barker.
Barker weighs 213 or somewhere.
Throw the ball there?
Oh, can he? Yes, sir. He can throw it. And so can the other backup. I mean, the other quarterback. I'm calling him the backup.
See, I thought Sawyer Smith. I thought they were going to be co-starters this year. I thought Smith was.
Well, they might be. Nothing's been determined, but everything I hear, I hear the other kid first usually. But now Sawyer Smith is a bigger guy.
I thought that's the reason they redshirted Sawyer Smith was to be the starter this year.
No, Mike, they like this kid. Whoa, they like this kid from Priceville, Mike. What's his name again? I can't even remember. Caleb Barker, and we're gonna call him KB.
If you go up to 65, you go left to Decatur and right to Priceville.
That's right, and it's a small town. Well, of course, I shouldn't say that. It's not a small town because that area up there, it's right below Hartselle. And of course, it's between Coleman and Hartselle. Did you know that? And how many good players come out of Coleman? I'll take anybody that comes out of Coleman.
I know Bobby Rhodes was coaching at DAR. He's not there anymore, but he coached against.
Now, all right, now this is Bobby Rhodes of
Priceville, and he said that his dad and him said that he was the best quarterback they'd seen in high school since Tyler Watts.
And he coached Tyler Watts, but your daddy coached Tyler Watts.
Tyler Watts at Pella.
Yeah. Tyler Watts was hometown growing up. Mike was Union Springs, Alabama. And you know who was one of his kinfolks is my buddy Tanner that works in my office.
The baseball pitcher?
Yeah, Tanner.
Yeah, I don't know Tanner's last name, but yeah, I know who you're talking about.
But of course, what I'm saying, this young man is a.
So when Tyler Watts lived in Union Springs until like he was an 8th grade or something?
That's right, something like that. He grew his dad. That's where his dad was from, and
I don't know if I knew that.
yeah, exactly.
But I mean, Troy quarterback. I mean, you got Coach Brown, you got Coach Reagan, you got good coaches.
Leave the television on down here.
First game. It's one of those things where Boise, it traditionally just really plays good in those first games usually.
Yeah, you're exactly right. We're going to get to see ourselves talk this morning now, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, our studios, and Scott, if somebody wanted to come by and watch our show in the mornings, we got plenty of seats, don't you think?
Oh, yeah.
So if somebody wants to come by and watch our show in the mornings, we love it.
You can have like a VIP.
Oh yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. I'm not telling you we will serve you coffee because I want coffee. I want coffee.
Like Rick and Bubba.
Yeah, Rick and Bubba. This is Mike and Mike in the mornings, ladies and gentlemen.
Have a fan club, whatever, come in and watch the show.
And the great Steve Camp, and of course, man, what would we do and where would we be without Steve Camp, Mike? He is not only is he a great golfer, he is a great producer of this show.
I was telling my wife the other day, she's like, "What happened to that seafood place? You used to get that really good seafood in Troy."
I know it.
No longer.
I tell you what, if you want seafood, he'll get it.
Camp's going to make a comeback?
I don't know, but I tell you this: if you wanted good seafood, he could get it for you. I promise you. This show is brought to you by Troy Bank and Trust Company. Mike, I want you to hear this. Troy Bank and Trust Company now with 12 locations. Now, this guy I'm talking to, ladies and gentlemen, is in Birmingham. I'm going to ask you right now. This is for a cup of Hills and Brooks coffee that's blended right here in this studio. If you can name the 12 locations of Troy Bank and Trust, the only bank you'll ever need. Start.
There's 3 locations in Troy: Goshen, Elba, New Brockton, Arrington, Enterprise, Ozark, Auburn.
No Ozark, but you got an Auburn.
Dothan.
Yes.
That's got to be close, isn't it? How many more?
That's 10. You got you got. Did you say Elba? I don't know if you said Elba. Did you?
Yeah, I said Elba.
All right, we got 3 locations in Troy, 1 in Arrington, 1 in Brundage. You might have missed Brundage.
Yeah, Brundage, I missed.
Okay, you missed Brundage, and you've got Dothan.
Auburn.
You got Auburn. You got
New Brockton.
New Brockton. That might have been one you missed. And then downtown Elba, Enterprise. And that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 11. We got 1 more, Mike. All right, you had 3 in Troy. 3 locations in Troy.
Yeah, Elba, Goshen, Brundage. That's 6.
Yeah.
Auburn 7, Enterprise 8.
That's right.
New Brockton 9.
Yes.
Dothan 10.
Yes.
So where are the other 2?
All right, you had New Brockton, is that right?
Yeah, we already just mentioned it.
All right, you got them all.
Well, I mean, there's got to be 2 more towns for business.
Well, no, there's 12 locations now, and I'll tell you who they are. There are 3 in Troy, 1 in Arrington, 1 in Brundage, 1 in Goshen, 1 in New Brockton, 1 in Enterprise. All right, that
one
is
in Dothan,
1 in Dothan, and 1 in Auburn. That is 3, 6, 10.
One in Brundage.
1 in Brundage. That's 11. We got 1 more. if I'm right. Did we say New Brockton? I don't think we did. One in New Brockton. That makes 12 locations to choose from of Troy Bank and Trust Company. And of course, want to mention Marco's today for fine pizza. Everybody,
Marco's is good.
yeah, something you've always liked is hard crust, thin crust, and their thin crust is really good, Mike.
Yeah, it is good.
No question about it, and of course they'll cater any of your
Does it
parties.
surprise you? I was reading that C.J. Carter made his minor league baseball debut yesterday for the Marlins and pitched one inning and struck out two.
That's great.
I was shocked that he went to the draft in the 29th round. I didn't think he would go.
Yeah, did he have another year left at Troy?
Yeah, he had another year. So I was surprised by that.
Yeah. Did you see, I want everybody to hear this, ladies and gentlemen, to tell you what recruiting will do and what going to the regional tournament will do. Troy signed 2 kids, Mike. One of them was a pitcher out of Atlanta. Here it is now. This pitcher was 10-0 during the regular season, and he had listen to this, a .024 ERA. A .024 ERA. That means he didn't give up maybe one hit in the whole year. One run in the whole year. And then the other kid was from the Atlanta area, and he had 10 home runs. So, Troy's already recruiting some good baseball players.
Well, who's going to be the pitching coach?
I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if they've made that decision or not yet. But, of course, he was one of my good friends. He did a great job for a long time. One of this community is going to miss him, too, I promise you.
Yeah, Brad Phillips.
Brad Phillips, and, of course, has been around a long time. And let me just tell you this.
That's one thing about being in the college town and being around these coaches. We've seen a lot leave and a lot come and go over the years. That's just kind of the way it works.
Well, how about this? How about
as a young kid? My best friend was Tate Gailey, and I remember it broke my heart when I was a little kid.
Oh yeah.
His dad ended up taking a job with Dan Reeves with the Broncos.
And I'm gonna tell you what a class act Chan Gailey was. We were very close friends. I was one of his guys he'd pick up the phone and talk to, and we were very good friends. He was a great guy. And instead of me reading about it, he got in his car and came over and drove up in my driveway. I knew that's what he was going to tell me, but I just could feel it because, you don't win a national championship and being a great young coach like he was, and they don't come at you. And he just said, Mike, I just had to come tell you myself, I'm going to coach with the Denver Broncos. So you leave Troy, Alabama to go coach with the Denver Broncos. And he coached on 2 or 3 staffs that played in the Super Bowl, Mike. And,
they just couldn't ever get over the hump early on in Elway's career, but later on with Shanahan they did.
Yeah, and I tell you something, though. He left a very good football coach in Rick Rhodes. I said this yesterday, and I'm going to ask you.
I think Rick Rhodes regrets leaving Troy for Southern Illinois. I think he could have won a lot more.
No question about it. And you know what? He was talking Division I back then, because Troy was dominating Division II. They were the top. It was not, back then, the number 2 team in Division II was North Dakota State, who had won 5 straight national championships now. But Troy was the top program in Division II at that time, don't you think? Winning 2 championships.
Yeah, I'd say it was probably Troy.
In the last 4 years.
And then Jacksonville State was pretty good back then too.
Yeah, well, they got better later on, but not while not while Rhodes and Gailey were there. They owned him. Let me tell you who else owned Jacksonville State was Larry Blakeney. He never lost to Jacksonville State. I think he beat them 9 times. Larry Blakeney owned Jacksonville State, Mike. And then after Rhodes left, you had a couple other coaches that didn't do as well to it. But hey, boy, Blakeney did, and so did Gailey and Rhodes. Rhodes might be the most underrated coach in Troy history. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I'd probably say. I don't know why I said Jacksonville State. The most dominant program after Troy left was UNA. UNA won 3 straight national championships.
Yeah, exactly. And then Jacksonville went to a no-huddle wishbone, and I think they won 1 national championship, maybe 2. They had that quarterback that was so good, you remember?
Yeah, they won.
And guess who their coach was, Mike? Rick and Bubba.
Yeah.
Rick Burgess's dad was the coach. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back to more of Today in L.A. Have a great weekend.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Here at Town & Country, we are proud to be an American.
We've had you covered on the inside since 2005, and with our addition of Southern Grill and Patio, we now have you covered on the outside. Come see our great selection, where we make sure grilling and relaxing go hand in hand.
Welcome to Trojan Detail.
Hey, I've been hunting. I got my truck filthy. Can you get it?
We surely can. We do work for Bill Jackson Chevrolet and Troy Nissan.
You do work for Bill Jackson Chevrolet?
Yes, we do.
Hey, I got a motorcycle.
We do them as well.
Tori Dunn from Dixie Trails. You get your truck washed here?
I sure do.
Billy Johnson. I know you're not bringing them cow trucks, okay?
I do, and they're like me when I leave.
Loretta, what are you doing?
I'm here at Trojan Detail getting my car detailed.
Bring your vehicle to Trojan Detail. We do it all.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Back to our show, brought to you by A1 Services right here in Troy. And, of course, if you got air conditioning problems, bless your heart if you do, 566-4220. It's like taking an aspirin for a headache. Call Terry Moats today. And also, Alan.
What would you rather have? I mean, would you rather be without an AC or without a heater?
About an AC. I would rather be without a heat. I mean, I could. Let me just say this: if my air conditioning went out and I didn't have air conditioning, I'd check into a motel.
Yeah,
that's how spoiled I am about an air conditioner. Yeah, that's it, my friend. No, that's not it. It's a football magazine. It's called. I reckon it was sitting right here. Somebody might have gotten it. I don't know, but of course we're. They say Max Howell was telling me, Mike, that the Guru had his magazine out. But I hadn't seen it. Have you?
I hadn't seen it either. Phil Steele?
It's not down there, I don't think. Phil Steele's magazine, he's usually more accurate than anybody else, don't you think? And by doing that, by being more accurate, his magazine costs more money, too. Have you ever noticed that?
Yeah, he has more credibility, at least.
Yeah. And, of course, I need to check that out today. Ladies and gentlemen, on a sad note, Alabama lost one of its all-time great golfers this past or just a few days ago, and Mike, he was one of your favorite golfers, Hubert Green.
Yeah, he won 2 majors and 19 tournaments on the PGA Tour, and
it's okay, it's not in there.
Was from Birmingham, Alabama.
It's not in there. Yeah, and of course he grew up in Birmingham. He came out of Birmingham Country Club there, and he sort of he was sort of one of these rich kids at one time, that played golf in Birmingham.
Yeah, he was 71. He had battled cancer for several years.
And he had throat cancer, and I used to see him in Florida all the time. He had a place down at Bay Point, and he used to play out at Bay Point. But I tell you, he became a big active member with at the Ombre. And he would coach it. He would practice at Signal Hill. I used to see him at Signal Hill, and he had his own little practice range, pretty much. I know that when you check in, you look over there with Hubert Green over there hitting balls. He was not the prettiest golfer you ever saw. You know what I mean? He wasn't one of these guys that you would say, well, that sure is a sharp looking guy. That's it. And that's it. How'd you find it?
Upside down like
Oh, it's upside down. Well, let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I sent it out for my magazine, and there's the magazine. But in my trunk, it was looking like this, so he couldn't find it.
But, you know, Hubert Green's in the World Golf Hall of Fame. So
Oh, I know he is. How many tournaments did he win? 17, didn't he? Something like that.
They won 19 in 2 majors. So usually if you win 2 majors and you're close to 20 wins, you usually get into the Hall of Fame.
All right, watching him play, what stood out when you watched him play?
He had a unique swing.
Real unique swing. And his hands were real close to the ground. It was really unreal how his hands were so close to the ground. I need to call Tony or somebody and ask him about Hubert.
Will Matthews was
Yeah, Will would definitely. I know Will probably played against him, but I'll tell you what. You get these narrow fairway courses. He and Gay, from Delville was very similar, same type golfers, but he was real accurate with his short irons. He wasn't real long off the tee, but he was real accurate with his short irons. And like, what's the tournament out of that's right after the Masters every year? The
one in Georgia.
Yeah, the one in it's not in Georgia, it's in South Carolina. What is it? Heritage, isn't it?
Yeah.
Boy, he'd always play that course good because of the narrow fairways and so forth. But he was a great player, and of course he was Alabama's finest for a long time. He won a lot more tournaments than anybody else from Alabama, Mike. I mean, don't you agree?
Yeah, I mean, he definitely.
Well, Bubba might catch him,
Yeah, but Bubba's from Baghdad.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's from Baghdad, Florida. Yeah. How about Boo? Now, he's from Defuniak. Is that right?
He's from Jay.
Or Jay, or whatever.
Jay's right over the Bruton.
What was our left-handed batter that could hit so many home runs from Jay, Florida, Mike? That helped us recruit DeMontre Carter. You know who I'm talking about? He was a left-handed hitter that could pull it from Jay, Florida.
I don't know.
Well, who else was from Jay? The principal of Shades Valley High School was from Jay, wasn't he?
Well, he's from Baghdad.
Who?
Baghdad is where Bubba Watson and Antoine Marshall are.
Baghdad, Florida is where Bubba Watson and
Baghdad's right outside Pensacola.
Yeah, I know it. But ladies and gentlemen, he's putting Antoine Marsh right in there with Bubba Watson. Yeah, exactly. No question. One of the great nose guards of all time at Troy University is now the principal at the big Shades Valley High School in Birmingham. And he and Bubba Watson are from the same town, Baghdad, Florida. Is that right?
That's right.
What was that guy's name, Mike? He was such a good baseball player.
I mean, who did he play for, Riddle?
Yeah, he played for Riddle. And
Montre Carter?
And he coached at Pensacola High School, and he helped us get Montre Carter to transfer from Auburn. We were talking yesterday about all these transfers over the years that Troy got. The Montre Carter would probably have to be the top. He was a great transfer. And then, of course, the quarterback out of Murphy of Mobile, who we got out of a junior college, might have been, let me just say this, out of all the junior college picks in America, he might have been the best ever in Alabama. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Kelvin Simmons?
Kelvin Simmons was that good. The quarterback that played at Murphy High Mobile, signed with Alabama out of high school, then did not make his grades, went to a junior college and started at a junior college. Our guys started recruiting him, and they got him to come to Troy, and that was under Gailey. And Gailey, I tell you right now, is the best quarterback he'd ever been around, and he's been around a lot of good ones.
No, he wasn't under Gailey. He was under Blakeney.
I mean, under Blakeney, excuse me, what I was saying, under Blakeney. And now, he wasn't better than the guy that he played with, but of course, you know who that was. The great Heisman Trophy winner. At Auburn.
We talking about quarterback or running back?
Quarterback. No, Mike. The first.
We talking about Pat Sullivan.
Pat Sullivan. it's my memories that we're having trouble with. I'm using his memories to remember all this, but now Gailey will tell you right now that he had none better than Kelvin Simmons. Kelvin Simmons needs to go into the Troy Sports Hall of Fame.
It's not Gailey, it's Blakeney.
What am I saying? Blakeney. Excuse me.
You got to remember, Gailey left.
And Gailey was just here 2 years. Is that right?
Yeah. Well, he was here before as a secondary coach, wasn't he?
Yeah. At one time.
Didn't Gailey coach for Bradshaw?
Yeah. At one time, Charlie Bradshaw on his staff had Shane Gailey, Jim Tompkins, Jay Jeffcoat, Rick Rhodes.
Rhodes coached under Bradshaw?
Yeah, oh yeah, he coached under Bradshaw. All right, what are they?
Johnny Williams always coached for Gailey. He never coached for Bradshaw.
No, he didn't coach for Bradshaw. But and then of course there's a couple of more guys that I can't remember right off the bat. The former Maddox. Maddox coached under.
Willie Slater was under Gailey.
Yeah, Slater was under that. But Maddox coached under Bradshaw. He played for Bradshaw and coached later on under him.
Slater's probably won more games than any of them.
Willie Slater, the head football coach at Tuskegee Institute, or Tuskegee University, is one of the great coaches of all time, and all you have to do is look at the records and the rings that he wears on his fingers. He won 2 national championships. Well, in college he won a national championship at Livingston as a wishbone quarterback under Jack Crow, Mike. Then he came to Troy after coaching at T.R. Miller and Bruton, and he's from a little old town called Coffeyville. Have you ever heard of Coffeyville?
Yeah, I've been there.
Well, Coffeyville, Alabama, and that then when Coffeyville and Sweetwater played, you could throw away the record. They were big rivals. Well, all right. Then he went on to Troy, and of course he won 2 national championships as a coach under Gailey and under Rhodes. So let's see, that is 3 national championships. Then he went to North Alabama and he coached on 3 straight national championship teams at North Alabama. That's 6. And then he went on to coach at Tuskegee. He's won 2 championships there. I think he had 8 national championship rings, Mike. Not many.
Willie Slater now is the athletic director at Tuskegee now too. I didn't realize that. Yeah. In 2017.
He is a great coach. He came out of a small school.
40 years of athletics and coaching experience. His record at Tuskegee in 12 years is 101 wins and 27 losses.
That's unreal. And a great guy and a great Christian man who, a lot of the influence on all of this came from Rick Rhodes. Of course, I'm sure he was a devout Christian before he met, not Rick Rhodes, but Chan Gailey. But Gailey turned a lot of these coaches and players' lives around. He was so devout.
Well, he also had the fact, he was under Bobby Wallace on a lot of things.
Exactly. And Bobby, well, let me tell you a little joke. It's not a joke, but it's a story. I hope our audience enjoys this, hearing all this backward talk. But, he left North Alabama because Wallace, after Wallace got the head job at Temple.
Yeah.
Temple University, they're pretty good in football, but they're located in downtown Philadelphia. Well, when he first got there, he was running a little bit late, so he just and didn't have a place to stay yet, so he just parked his car with all his clothes hung up in the car and all that. And so he went on and he was in coaches meetings all day long. So after the first day that he went back, left work and went to his car. The car was jacked up, all the tires were gone, and everything in the car was gone. So that was his first night in downtown Philadelphia.
Yeah, you told that story before.
I know it, exactly. But what a great man Willie Slater is even today, and the things he's done as a coach. I tell you something else too, Mike. He could hit a golf ball. He was one of the great short iron, talking about a wedge 100 yards in. I don't know if I knew anybody could hit it any better than him.
Hey, man, let me call you right back. I gotta get
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back to today in L.A.
Life is hectic enough without worrying if your lights will stay on or if there's hot water for your child's bath. So count on natural gas to keep the energy flowing, even when the weather is unpredictable. Natural gas is always there to keep your home warm, showers hot, and food cooked to perfection. That's why America has relied on safe and affordable natural gas for more than 150 years. And we will be here for you and future generations too. You can count on natural gas from Southeast Alabama Gas District.
Come see us at Don Walker Western Wear. From boots, jeans, and jackets to shirts, hats, and belts, we're your headquarters for Western wear for the entire family. With the largest selection of jeans in town, we carry famous brands like Wrangler, Levi, Carhartt, Ariat, and Cinch. We've also got plenty of styles of boots to choose from, including Justin, Lucchese, Ariat, Tony Lama, Red Wing, Dan Post, and Corral. So come on into Don Walker Western Wear, located on Highway 231 in Troy.
A personal touch, a high level of trust. Whether it's checking and savings accounts, personal or business loans, or our local friendly service. That's what Troy Bank and Trust customers expect. But now we offer more. Free identity theft protection for our new and existing customers, protecting your family's time, money, and good name from identity theft. Because protecting your identity is now a big part of our identity.
At Pike County Ford, we're starting 2018 with our grand reopening celebration. And it's your chance to save big on America's favorite brands, including $14 grand on new F-150s or the new Fiesta for under $13 grand. I'm Jeremy, the new owner, and this is how serious we are about earning your business. If you bring a deal to us we can't beat, we'll pay you $5 grand. The new Pike County Ford. Come by our grand reopening celebration today and find out why. Pike County is for...
Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Quality Roofing of Goshen, Alabama. And we appreciate Jeff and all those great folks. And, of course, ladies and gentlemen, one of our prime sponsors on this show for the last, since we actually started here on Troy Cable is Dixieland Dental, located 9 miles north of Dothan on Highway 231. Dr. Michael Precise, Dr. John Strength, Dr. Damon Strength, and Dr. Robert Precise make up one of the largest dental clinics in Alabama. Want to mention also our good friends at Country Financial, Melissa Parrish and all the great folks at Country Financial, located in downtown Troy, and I appreciate her so much. And of course, let me tell you, if you are concerned about what you're paying for your automobile and homeowners insurance, you need to give her a ring and let her give you a quote. It will surprise you like you would not believe how much money you can save at Country Financial on the square in downtown Troy. My good friends at First Citizens Bank of Luverne, William Petrie and, of course, Steve Sanders and Charlie Sankey and all the great folks there at First Citizens Bank of Luverne. Want to mention Premier Dodge Chrysler Jeep, located on the bypass right here in Troy. And, of course, Jason and all the great folks have a super selection of Dodge Chrysler Jeep and Ram trucks right now on their lot on the bypass in Troy. Want to mention golf today. Zach Johnson and Jordan Spieth. You know, I told somebody the other day, and I'm going to say this, and I reckon I'm saying it to make you laugh, but Jordan Spieth has not been the same since he got a steady girlfriend. That's what I told somebody the other day. I don't believe he's played near the golf that because when he was single, he could concentrate more on it, I reckon. But he did shoot a 63 yesterday. That's pretty good. He's 7 under par. He and Zach Johnson, Peter Malady, whoever he is, shot 64. Brian Harmon shot 64. Rory McIlroy shot 64. They're playing in the Travelers Championship in Cromwell, Connecticut. I tell you something I don't know if you noticed the other day. that in the morning everybody had jackets on up there because it was really cool. And last week at the U.S. Open, but then in the afternoon it really warmed up. Stuart Sink, as usual, shoots in the 60s. He shot a 68. Of course, he's from Florence and played at the University of Georgia Tech years ago. But I just wanted to throw out some of our players here. Back to Matt Jones shot 65. Paul Casey shot 65. J.B. Holmes, one of the long drivers on the tour, shot 76. And Jason Day is back in there. Let's go back to our lines. Good morning, you're on Today in L.A. How you doing?
Yeah, I was just calling Mike.
Mike Amos calling in. I was going over the golf, and Mike, I was
pretty good guys on that leaderboard when you got McIlroy, Speed, Thomas.
Yeah.
Jason Day.
Don't you know it's still, I noticed the other day on the U.S. Open, the guys that were playing in the morning had sweaters and jackets on, and then that afternoon they were down to just their T-shirts almost. It was so hot. But the weather...
Like a T-shirt with 2 buttons that a lot of golfers wear now.
Well, let me tell you, I mentioned that. I asked your brother-in-law while we were watching golf this past weekend, I said, what's different about that guy? And he didn't have a regular...
he didn't have a
collar on. And you don't see those... you always see them at least with a collar.
Yeah, I can get you one of those. Just let me know if you need it.
Oh, you can?
I sell Nike Wagner Team Sports.
Yeah. I was looking...
all that stuff Dustin Johnson was wearing, I can get you too.
Yeah.
All that Adidas.
Yeah. I thought on the U.S. Open, and let's go back to the U.S. Open a little bit, and what a great performance by a young man that is big and strong, and like everybody else says, Dustin Johnson intimidates everybody except he didn't intimidate that guy. That guy last week, I'll tell you this, that guy intimidated everybody on the course.
Well, Bruce Koepka and Dustin Johnson are best friends. They work out, play golf together, and are real close.
Are they? Well, I tell you what, he is a specimen, if you ever saw one. I don't know if Dustin works out weights like the rest of them do. What do you think?
Oh, my God, yeah, he definitely does.
He doesn't look like a weightlifter, Mike. He doesn't have the big biceps and all that like the rest of them have.
Dustin Johnson's arms, they're all muscle.
Well, he looked like he should be wearing some 6 guns on both sides. He's bow-legged for one thing, and he looks like he should be wearing some six guns.
Wow, this is a crazy rule that just came down. You don't have to go to Vegas anymore. Sports betting legalized in Mississippi casinos after Gaming Commission ruling.
Oh, boy.
So that means you can go over to Mississippi and place a bet.
Right now on the game. Is that right?
It says sports betting will become legal in Mississippi casinos by the end of July, so next month, following a ruling by the state.
Boy, that's going to be huge.
So they'll have sports books, and that'll be, let's see, Mississippi has more than 35 casinos throughout the state, including along the Gulf Coast, the Delta area, northwest part of the state, along the lower Mississippi River in Vicksburg, Natchez, and the Choctaw Indian Land of Philadelphia and Laurel.
Yeah, of course, you can get on the phone.
Several of those casinos, including Biloxi's Bowl Rivage, have begun setting aside locations for sports books by the time of the Supreme Court ruling.
Now, this gets to be like horse racing, where you can go and sit down in front of a big wall.
This is on football.
I know. But what I'm saying, though, you can just sit down and say, all right, I want this, and you write it down and hand it to them. Is that right?
Yeah, you go to the ticket window and place your bet.
I mean, sort of like what I'm saying, though, it is sort of like horse racing in a way, isn't it?
Yeah, or dog racing.
Yeah.
Mississippi becomes the 4th state legalized sports betting, following Nevada, Delaware, and New Jersey. Delaware and New Jersey opened their first sports books earlier this month in response to the Supreme Court ruling. So that is a huge game changer when you're in Mississippi now.
And I'll tell you what,
casinos. You're talking about a lot more people going down there.
A lot more people going down there now. You're exactly right.
During sports seasons, especially football starting up. I mean, they'll be, golly, I can't imagine. There'll probably be a couple more casinos popping up now.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And it's the real stuff down there. This up in here with these computerized games, that's not real stuff, sanctioned.
Slot machine?
That's not sanctioned type. I mean, what I'm saying is just it's not quite the same.
Yeah, this is regulated by the government.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, whatever your opinion is on gambling and this and that, I mean, people from Alabama have been going to Mississippi for years. I mean, I was out in Vegas earlier this year. I mean, you know, it's amazing how many people go to the sports books and actually watch the games.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Almost like a big party going on out there. How many people are
and restaurants and, you know, all over the town probably will end up getting involved in it, too, I would think.
Of course, a guy that graduated from Troy is the head guy at the Bowler Lodge, Mike Peterson.
Yeah, I don't know if he graduated at Troy. I know he played football at Troy one time, and he's a good guy. And, of course, we're looking at golf right now, Mike. And what was your take on the U.S. Open last week?
Well, you know, Mickelson's come out and apologized and said, you know, that it wasn't
he was wrong. Moment. But let me tell you that he was just – he shouldn't have done it, but he was joking around. It was not a serious thing that he did. And I know when he did it, he knew he was going to be penalized too.
Yeah, he did. I mean,
these guys that thought he was trying to save the stroke, I think, were crazy to think that.
Yeah, even McIlroy and Steve came out and said, you know, they got, you know, basically.
You know, the ball was rolling. The greens were so fast, it was just ridiculous.
It got way too much attention.
You throw it, you make a 1 foot putt or 2 foot putt, and it rolls off the green. Then it starts getting ridiculous. You know.
Yeah. I mean, like McIlroy and Steve both agreed with Mickelson and said, you know, that the media kind of.
Now let me tell you who should be
overplayed it.
Let me tell you who should have been to blame more than anybody. They should have brought the guy in that placed the holes. You know. Every day they come in and they move the hole to a different place. They put the holes that day in an, excuse my language, ungodly place where nobody, I mean, if you missed the putt, it was going to roll almost off the green. That's how tough the pin placements were. That guy is the one they should have brought on television and chewed out. You know what I mean? I mean, even the pros can't, it's like putting a marble on just on a downward slope. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I was talking to a buddy of mine I work with. You know, he's a big golfer and stuff like that. He says, you know, people pay thousands and thousands of dollars to play that course the next day. All these big corporate guys, all these millionaires. Well, I mean, it's like a, reserve a spot to play the next day. And wouldn't it be something to get out there and try to even putt a ball on one of those greens?
Oh yeah.
Be like,
you see. All right, go out on your concrete driveway and hit a golf and put a golf ball. It's about the way it was. It was almost that unreal. They said, about the pin placements and the conditions. Now another thing too, and this was. What's the guy's name? The pretty guy on the Golf Channel. What's his name? He's the pretty guy. Brandel Chambly. Now I don't know how good a golfer he was, but he's a pretty good commentator.
He never even won a tournament.
But I'll tell you this. I thought he was way too hard on Phil. But I'll tell you something he was right about. The long knockers, they benefit from wide fairways. The guys that hit it a long ways, and then the rough is so deep you can't even find the ball. Well, he was right by saying the U.S. Open people should not have had such wide fairways because it was a huge advantage to the long knockers. Don't you agree?
Yeah, that's true.
And normally they'd been in 25 yards. They'd been in at least 25 or 30 more yards in. It made it a lot narrower. And then the guys that are the great golfers would have benefited from the narrow fairways.
That course reminded me more of a links course.
It was. There was not a tree on that course.
Yeah.
You're right. It was a links course, and that's the kind of course that Bubba and
yeah, that's why everybody liked McIlroy, but McIlroy didn't even make the cut.
There used to be a course down in South Alabama or Northwest Florida around Baghdad called the Moors. And Bubba Watson used to play there, and Heathcliff Slocum played there, and Boo Weekley played there. That's where they played pretty much growing up. And that was a links course. There were no trees.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is, the U.S. Open should not have that wider. It was just too easy for the long knockers, especially once they fixed those greens and put the placements back to where they could putt, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the last day, Fowler shot 65.
Yeah.
He went from 84 to 65.
That's exactly right. It made that big a difference, and it made it at least fair for everybody, you know. And it was crazy. It was crazy, and they came out. Chambly came out. I don't know if Chambly is popular or not. I think some people like Chambly and some people don't like him. Is that right?
I know Tiger's complained about him several times.
Yeah, he'll tell it like it is now. But I think that crew they got there is pretty. Noblo is one of these European golfers, and you can tell that he thinks the PGA should have more of a lot stronger relationship with the European golf, you know, because they play on the same tours. But hey, have you ever looked at the difference in the money? you know why all those guys want to play over here, don't you? Because the money is a lot different.
Yeah, it's huge difference.
And of course you could win one tournament over here, and it'll be what you try to win for a whole year over there. You know, the money is unbelievable in golf now. It really is, and of course everybody can make a living in it. It seems like.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a sport your kids should play, I mean, definitely golf's probably one of them.
That's what I'm talking about. Hey, man, get them off. If they're great athletes, get them off the baseball diamond and the football field and let them play golf.
I got two little daughters, and I would definitely not have any issue with being golfers.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, and of course, we've seen a lot of good young golfers.
Another sport I always enjoy watching is volleyball. I don't know if I can get my girls to play volleyball one day or not.
Well, you know, right now they give 15 scholarships at Troy, 15 at Alabama, 15 at Georgia Southern, or wherever. There's an opportunity. You know, for the first time, because of Title 10, you know, which supports girls' athletics or women's athletics.
Title 9?
Yeah, Title 9. What did I say? Title 10? Title 9. You know, now, you know, there's a lot of scholarships that universities are required to give in women's sports.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people don't realize there's as many head injuries in soccer as there is in any.
Oh, yeah. No question.
You know, baseball, you got to deal with, Tommy John. You got to deal with other issues.
And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not exaggerating when I say this. We went with my little 4-year-old to her last soccer game, and they had to be between 2,000 and 3,000 people at that soccer game. I could not get over it, and all the kids that were playing. These were 4-year-olds, Mike. 4-year-olds.
I know, but you got to explain there were several soccer games going on at one time.
Oh yeah, it was exactly. Yeah, it was.
One
No,
game.
It wasn't just one game. No, I don't think. But
it's so popular. They got a couple of food trucks that come up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You can have lunch there or supper there. But I'll tell you this, though.
That's one thing about Birmingham. It's just food truck crazy. Anytime you go to any kind of event around here, there's food trucks.
Well, everybody's raving, and I was in Birmingham and down at Ted's, ate at Ted's the other day, and, you know, they're huge UAB people. They think that their program has hit a huge leap, or made a great leap toward prominence in college football as far as quality of football. When they build a 55,000-seat stadium that's going to be really something, located in downtown Birmingham.
Well, you know, nationally, their brand, there's so many people around the country that were so, devastated when they lost their program that, they got fans throughout the country now that kind of taken on.
Well, they've got a real good logo, and I'm gonna be honest with you.
Under Armour made a smart decision. They came in, and they're an Under Armour school now as well, so that's one of those things where I think that's going to help them a little bit.
Let me tell you something. I love Troy, but I don't like their logo that much. T is their logo.
Hey, I like the Power T. I think that's been a good change.
Well,
out of all things John Harbaugh did, of course, he hired Neil Brown. and hired Coach Cunningham and made some good hires. Coach Rigby.
Yeah.
I don't know if he hired her or not, but she's a great coach.
Well, I tell you this, their mascot.
I like the Power T. I like it better than the Troy with the Troy on the helmets with the swords coming out.
Well, you would think though. I'm not all that much for the swords, but you would think that you could come up with a good logo with a Trojan head. You know, you would think you could.
But then you're just going after, USC and Michigan State.
Well, we've been Troy since 1871 or something like that. You know, I think we've been around long enough to put our own logo up. That's just my personal opinion. I'm not losing any sleep over it.
That Troy T tag was 1,000 times better than that Trojan head thing they used to have on there.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me ask you this. What do you think about T. Roy the old T. Roy compared to what they got now?
Oh, the one with the beard?
The mascot with the beard, yeah.
Yeah, I like the one with the beard probably better.
I thought it was outstanding. I thought it was a great logo. People said it looked like a clown. Well, most all of them do. But he was really a good-looking mascot. They won several awards with him, too. Now,
you got to admit, though, look at Alabama's logo compared to their old elephant under the A.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody I know wants the old Alabama logo. Everybody loves the old A with the elephant in it. I still love that.
Oh, I did, too, and I don't know why they don't go back to that. But
I've got Wagner's, I've got the ability, with embroidery, to get, shirts made for friends, shirts made for myself, and I got 2 or 3 Alabama shirts with that old logo on.
Make me a Today in L.A. Get your guru to come up with a Today in L.A. T-shirt, and I'll wear it right here on this screen.
Oh, you mean polo shirt?
Yeah. Well, not necessarily polo. It could be a T-shirt, whatever.
You got a bunch of SEC sweater vests now. Why don't you start wearing those?
Well, I got one. I don't know where it's going.
You can look like an SEC official.
Listen, I can be an official just right here, Ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday. Thank goodness it's Friday, and we're laid back and having a good time.
The top draft pick last night was Ayton out of Arizona, so he went number 1 last night.
All right, let me tell you what they did on TV, and it tickled me pink. This guy was the number 1 pick, but then he let little bitty Buffalo come in and beat them and knock them out of the tournament. And they showed footage of that game. You could tell it was a lot of people real upset about it.
Well, that was one of the bigger upsets in the tournament last year.
All right, now who was number 2?
Bagley, the guy that's out of Duke, had a phenomenal year.
Did his daddy play too, or was it Bagley?
I don't know about his dad.
When did the great shooter from Duke go? What round he go?
Great shooter.
Yeah, the great shooter out of Duke.
Oh, that's a good question. Let me look and see.
I think it was in the top 10. I want to say I didn't pick it all up. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back with more of Today in L.A.
At the Piggly Wiggly, we proudly support our local farmers and bring you the best they have to offer, all at cost plus 10%. When you shop local, you reinvest in your community. Remember, buy local, shop local. Piggly Wiggly, local since forever.
Troy Cable Security Wi-Fi doorbell camera allows you to answer the door from your smartphone when you are at home, at work, or on the go. When a visitor presses the button, Troy Cable Security sends a live video feed to your smartphone so you can see, hear, and speak to the person at your door. With the doorbell camera, you can have your porch light turn on automatically when it detects motion at night to create the appearance that someone is at home. You can view video clips so you can always know who stopped by when you are out. Troy Cable Security. You love them, protect them.
Here's some Napa know-how for you. Your local Napa Auto Parts store in Troy is under new ownership with an all-new fully stocked store. Big deal, you say? Big deal, we say. Like the ownership, the store has a new look, too. We're still delivering the same Napa quality and know-how, but we've increased our inventory and are committed to helping you find the parts you need when you need them. So come check us out. We've got the right part at the right price at the right time.
Know-how, Napa know-how.
Have you seen an increase in your insurance premiums or significant change in your insurance coverage? Let Sandbeck Insurance offer you a better plan to suit your business or personal needs. Sandbeck Insurance offers many lines of insurance. Whether it's home, farm, or auto insurance, work comp, business, or health and life policies, Sandbeck is here for you. Call or visit our Troy, Enterprise, or Andalusia office today. Sandbeck Insurance, where we take pride in taking care of your
basketball. Back to our show, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, it's brought to you by our good friends at Hook's Barbecue. Mike, I was at a friend of mine's wife's funeral, and of course, bless her heart, and you know, we're praying for her and her family, and of course, you know, in a time of need, you know, the people that come over to your house. Well, Hook's Barbecue was over there, and boy, the food was just outstanding, and it, you know, they cater so well, and of course, during that time of need, you know, nothing better than to have Hooks come by and cater the meal, and it was just simply outstanding. And Mike, I saw one of the most beautiful areas I've ever looked at. You know, I always said that Crow Lake in the afternoon was one of the prettiest places in Alabama. Well, I saw an area in Troy at Gibsonville, you know, out where Rusty Gibson was raised, and on that top of that hill, there's a friend of mine that built a home, and it looks out over the tallest area maybe in Pike County, and it's just breathtaking, the view that he has, and it was right there, day or night. It was just spectacular, and I was able to enjoy that this week. Of course,
that little part of on 231 where they cleared all those trees.
Yeah,
that's real hilly right there. I was noticing the other day. Some little hills right there.
Well, you know, I'll tell you something that I noticed. You can now see the sign, the Big Troy sign, coming in and out because they cut down some of those trees, and you know, little things like that. I was on the phone with a friend of mine the other day, and he told me he had ridden through Troy, and he said he like to fell out. And it's the truth. You know, if you hadn't been back to Troy in the last 2 years, and Mike, when you come back again, you're not going to believe the way it looks now. This new wellness center is going to dominate the campus. It is huge, 3 stories at least, and it's already got all the ironwork up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be a giant wellness center full of basketball courts, swimming pools, tracks, weight facilities, and it's going to be a real asset to Troy because they've never really had anything for the students to do. Don't you agree, Mike?
Yeah, but I mean, is Sartain Hall going to make it? It's still up.
I don't know, and I hate it. I don't think it's going to make it. But and it is still.
They tore it down.
I don't know. I was talking to one of the top.
Why would you build this next to it and not already tear that down? That makes no sense.
Well, I was talking to one of the top people at Troy just very recently, and I asked him the same thing, and he hated it too. He said, yes, we still use it. It's still a very nice facility, and they're fixing to bulldoze that thing and all those memories of great games, and it's still a beautiful place. Just think how many graduations and how many special events were held in that facility, other than basketball.
Yeah, well, before they knock it down, they ought to let David Felix and Don Maestri walk in there one more time.
They sure should. And the great John Archer. I remember when I hate to say it for the 100th time on this show, but I was the first one to ever put a basketball through a rim in that gymnasium. I wasn't but about 12 years old, and I was over there. We used to go there and shoot basketball in the old hard courts over there that had the chain goals. Walked in this building, and it didn't even have a floor yet. It had concrete still on the ground, and of course they had already put up the basketball goals, and they still were under construction. And the fiberglass backboards were covered with cardboard. But the goal was sticking out, and I had the ball in my hand. I put it up and in. I might have been the first person to ever make a goal in old Sartain Hall. Do you know that facility, and a lot of folks here watching our show remember that facility, and boy, I had great seats. You remember where my seats were?
Yeah, we're on the floor.
Oh, man, on the floor. Well, really, 1 foot off the floor, 1 foot off the floor. But I had great seats, and a lot of other people did. And a lot of people have not even been back since they lost those seats. But it was just amazing how much fun we used to have at basketball games. But did you know a swimming pool?
It was a huge home field advantage because that place would get packed and it was real loud. I mean,
exactly.
It was one of those really good basketball games for a small school.
Yeah, even Coach.
When Western Kentucky came in there one night, of course, Western Kentucky's got great history. I think they've been to 22, 23 NCAA tournaments, and they came in there with a great team one night with Courtney Lee, who's still playing in the NBA today, and Troy beat them by 25 in there one night.
Yeah. Well, I tell you, it's been some great games in there for championship games, and of course, did you know that originally there was supposed to be a swimming pool in the basement? There was the original design had a Olympic-sized swimming pool in the basement, and of course, a lot of people never saw that room that you used to see where they worked out. They had the weight room, the football weight room was in there.
When I was in college, we're in the athletic department. I had to paint that.
It was like a dungeon, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was hot.
But it was a beautiful facility, and like you said, I've heard Kermit Davis is probably one of the best coaches in the country. He coaches at Middle Tennessee. He said he used to.
He's the head coach.
He said he used to beg his players not to think they were going to go down to Troy and win that ball game. I mean, he thought it was the hardest place to win in the country, and he said it wasn't because it was a little bit smaller than some gyms, because it wasn't so terribly small. But he said the fans were really strong, and he said we always had trouble. Coach Cunningham coached with those teams at Georgia State. He said the same thing, that Troy was one of the hardest places to win in the country, and because of not only because of the gym they played in, but because of the players they had, you know.
Well, I mean, Trojan Arena, I mean, don't get us wrong. I mean, it's the nicest.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, you're right.
Probably that Troy will ever have. It's probably going to be, I mean, I would say the football stadium is nice, but I don't know if Trojan Arena's got to be the
Can I tell you, can I tell you this, though? They made it too small. People say, well, as great it is, yeah, for graduation, they can't handle graduation. They can't handle everybody. I mean, right now, there were over 6,000. There were over 6,000 people at graduation this last time. You know.
Yeah, well, that's what they do.
But it's one of the great basketball facilities in the country, and I think it's perfect.
You have to do more than one graduation.
Yeah, and I think it's perfect for basketball.
I thought for graduation the whole like 5,800. I thought it was more.
Oh, well, it does, because see, they can fill the bottom two, you know, the floor. See, they put that surface, that cover on the floor, and see, they had 900 graduates, Mike, this time.
Yeah, that is a strange move, because you got to think about the enrollment being 8,000, and thinking about, you know, you bring up, you know, two parents, you bring, you know, brothers, you bring sisters, you bring grandparents. Yeah, that was I guess 7,000 probably would have been the right size, but that would have been way too big.
Couple other little notes I've heard recently.
They can't fill it up for basketball to save their lives.
Yeah.
I mean, average crowd, what, maybe 2,000, 1,500?
Yeah, I tell you, but it is a great place for basketball, no question, and I really have enjoyed it. I wish they'd go back to the old format that they used for you know, people. What is it? Where we ate at half.
Yeah, the hospitality.
Hospitality, yeah, it was really nice. And I think you'll find a lot of people miss that, and they would pay the big money to.
Well, they had it great that first year. They had it in the indoor practice facility, and
yeah.
I mean, that was a great spread, great setup. I don't know why they went away from that. That was strange.
No question about it. I think they use it some, you know, to shoot, you know, before a game and so forth. But it is a beautiful facility, no question about it. And of course, we're proud to have it in Troy, Alabama. You know, this friend of mine though that came through, he said, man, what I can't understand is, and see, he had not been in since they had knocked down all the pecan trees. He said, what did y'all do with the pecan trees? He said, we cut them down, thank goodness. You know, it was tradition, and it was but those pecan trees were beat up by storms. Don't you remember that?
Yeah, I mean,
they were ugly.
Not so many down, and some of them were almost, I think, you know, had some like ropes
Oh yeah, it was ugly, and then everybody used to fight over those parking places, and around there. So they alleviated two things: those old pecan trees, which were ugly, and hey, anybody that's seen them would say that. And then they built a beautiful fountain, thanks to the mayor of Andalusia, Alabama. He's the one that had the idea for all of this. And they made it a pedestrian area. Troy University's campus is beautiful, just simply beautiful, and the chancellor and his staff have done a wonderful job making things look good. Now, this wellness center is gigantic. It is huge, but you watch, it's going to be beautiful too, and it's going to be first class, and it's going to be classy. Troy's, if they could do something maybe with the old with International Dorm, it's not very nice looking, and couple of those old dorms there. But once they clear that up and make that nice again, Troy's going to be one of the best looking campuses in the country.
Yeah, they're doing a great job of renovation on buildings. I mean, Troy looks, it's an old campus, but it looks really new.
Oh, it sure does. How many times have me and you driven down up the mountain in Birmingham, and I say, look down at that beautiful Samford University, and it did look beautiful.
Yeah,
but Troy,
Samford's one of the prettiest campuses.
But think about Troy, how it would look from up top like that, showing that beautiful stadium and all that.
You get to see it from up top. You live on Crow Hill, you get to see it that way.
Well, all of this that they've done to the university has really enhanced our property there. I'll tell you that right now, and I can stand in my front yard and see them practice football.
That is crazy.
And now the next thing, hint, the next thing what they need to do is take that big culvert, and it's a big culvert big enough for a golf cart to go through, and take that, buy that, or they already own that property, but make it into a golf course, and you could have a nice, at least a nice 9-hole golf course, or possibly an 18-hole golf course right there on that corner.
You talking about going underneath the road?
Yeah, underneath the road, but
it's real swampy back there. They'd have to do a lot.
Oh, Mike, once you turn water like golf courses, the only thing that could be built over there would be a golf course, because it is a marsh area. It is
I ride by there all the time. I was like, I wonder what's back there living.
That's right, and it goes way around the old practice field and band practice field at Charles Henderson. All of that land goes around there. That's the old original, area where they at one time they were going to have a lake.
I don't know who's doing the grass at the middle school, but man, that football field looks better than it's ever looked out there.
Let me tell you the key.
Out there, do they finally put sprinklers in there?
No, but let me tell you the key is rain. If you get water with rain, you're gonna have pretty grass, Mike, and that's what they're doing.
I brought some guys down from Tuscaloosa when we were working down there one day, with Wagner's, and they were real impressed that we had a junior high football stadium like that, because most junior high kids play in the high school stadium.
Exactly, and of course I wish that they would do that some in Troy. Don't you know those kids would have a big time playing on that field at least once a year?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you've enjoyed our show and our sponsors. We appreciate them so very much, and want to mention Pike County Ford on the bypass.
When are you going to start making your rounds and start interviewing high school football teams?
Well, gosh, it'll be before you know it. And, somebody asked me the other day if I was going to do it. Why not? I want everybody to know who's these kids that are sacrificing, that are working so hard to bring us the best entertainment in the world on Friday nights. And these are the high school kids. These are the cheerleaders. These are the band folks. And like the cake sale the other day, the Goshen cheerleaders made $3,700 for an hour's work right here on this stage. But they were so prepared. If you're prepared like they are, and calling people to make sure they call in, you can raise $5,000 on a cake sale.
I went by Goshen yesterday, and I was hoping to see Coach Snyder or Coach Ward. I went in there and I talked to the assistant principal. He said, "Yeah, they practice every morning from 7 to 9, and then after that they're gone."
That maybe 7 to 9, no question. Now, and of course,
that's pretty smart though. In the summer heat, I would practice that early too.
Mike, they've lost their basketball coach. I think they lost a couple of coaches that they got to hire.
Yeah, Major Lane, of course, is retired after 37 years.
Boy, what a great man! No question about it. Hope you enjoyed our show, ladies and gentlemen, and you'll watch us, of course, again today at 1:30 right here on our dial. Laid back television at its very best. Troy Cable's own today in L.A. as we were seen live across the nation and the world on Facebook. Facebook is about the best way to communicate that I know of. And if you're not communicating on Facebook, you're missing out on a lot of fun. And we appreciate them very much and hope that you have a great weekend. Hey, it's going to be hot. Do what you need to do inside as far as in the morning as far as your work day goes, and then enjoy the afternoon right here in Troy, Alabama. Have a great weekend.